Hello and welcome to episode 6 of my knitting podcast. This month I have a few finished objects, a few works in progress, lots of autumnal and wintry plans, and some progress to share on my spinning journey. So without further ado, let's get started. My first finished object is what I'm wearing, and it is my second ever storm sweater. I personally think the storm sweater is as close to a perfect pattern as you can get. It is so engaging with the different sections of knit purl textures. You don't need any extra tools like cable needles or anything like that, and it fits so well. I love the fit of it. I'll put a picture in so you can see it properly because I'm sitting a little bit closer to my camera today to try and make the sound a bit better. But I am so thrilled with this one. I made it in Baramu Eden 4-ply, held double in the colour Bedrock Grey. This yarn is a British wool and alpaca blend, so it has the sort of rustic feel, woolly scratchy feel of wool, along with the sort of almost buttery feel of alpaca, and it just is the perfect texture. I first made this pattern this time last year actually, in a wool nylon blend 50-50, and it has felted quite badly, so I wanted to make one in pure wool, and I had this yarn in my stash. I'd bought it for a couple of different accessories and then realised I actually had a sweater quantity, so I might as well make myself a really nice jumper. I'll show you the sleeves so you can see the texture. And I made the cuffs quite a lot longer this time as well. I only did them 6 centimetres last time, and the extra 2 centimetres really makes a big difference. It has blocked to the perfect cosy sleeve length, and I'm just really pleased with it. I finished this in about 3 weeks because the textures just keep you really, really engaged and gripped. And I also wanted to finish it in time for my birthday, which was yesterday, and thanks to spin on the washing machine and the towel rail being heated, I managed to wear it on my birthday, so I was really, really pleased with that. I do think if you're a knitter, September is the perfect time to have a birthday because you get to wear all your nice knitwear, but it's not going to be freezing cold, and you might get a little bit of sun as well. So that's my storm sweater. Absolutely thrilled with how it's turned out. I put it on and said to my partner, I think I may have accidentally made the perfect jumper, so not to blow my own trumpet, but I'm really quite pleased with this one. So that's the first one. I don't have very much yarn left for it. Where have I put it? I just have like 45-ish grams left. It really did use up a whole sweater quantity of yarn in a very neat, perfect way, which just helps with. My next finished object was actually chronologically my first finished object this month, and it's a little scarf using the yarn that I bought on a family holiday, which was UK alpaca in the colour Speckledy Gold. This is the Costa bandana. I'll show you the texture. It has these sort of staggered cables, so you can see that they're kind of offset from each other, and it just creates this very simple, beautiful fabric that has so much interest in it, and again, very motivating to keep knitting. Let me kind of put it on so you can see it on. It's sort of equivalent to maybe a Sophie shawl, something like that, although it is on 3.5mm needles. I can wrap it around twice very comfortably, and it's very, very soft. Again, the alpaca feels very buttery. This is a pure alpaca. I personally, maybe this is a hot take, prefer alpaca to cashmere. I have never knitted in cashmere, but from owning charity shop cashmere jumpers, I know how it feels, and I personally think alpaca is softer, so let me know in the comments if you agree, or if you think there's another fibre that's a lot softer. I personally am a mohair hater. I find it so scratchy, and I think I might be a little bit allergic to it because I just can't tolerate it at all, which is definitely good for my bank account. But yeah, that was a tangent. This is how it looks on. I am delighted with it. It's sort of the perfect autumnal scarf. I don't think it would be quite warm enough for sort of the depths of winter, but for this season it's sort of spot on. I loved making this. I knitted on this very monogamously because I was just having such a nice time with it. The pattern is very well written, very well thought out, very well designed. It didn't fit massively well with my way of reading patterns, which in sort of recent months has evolved to become I love charts, which I didn't think would happen. I used to love written instructions, now big fan of a chart. And this is partly written instructions for some sections, and then other sections are charted. So you're kind of doing both, which is fine. And you know, it wasn't difficult to read, it's just not my preference. I'm gonna take this off because it's quite warm in this sunbeam here. But I'm really, really thrilled with it. I think the colour is really gorgeous. This sort of olivey gold is really my colour of the moment. I want to make everything in sort of browns and autumnal shades, which is a lot of fun. I actually don't have that much in my stash, so, you know, we'll see. I'm off to a yarn festival at the weekend, and I will definitely be keeping my eyes peeled because I'm really in the mood for some more cables in this colour. It was just a great project. I really enjoyed it. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. I've had a really positive month of liking how my knits have turned out, so that's been a nice treat. And I think also it being autumn, I'm just full of motivation and inspiration, which always helps. My next finished object I actually have already given to its new owner because it was a gift knit. This was a pair of Sunday socks that I made for my sister for her birthday, and I used for this Drops Fiesta, which is their DK weight sock yarn. So it's mostly wool, but it has a bit of nylon as well. It's also superwash, which is very handy because she's very busy. She doesn't have time to be hand washing socks. So that's what I used for that. I used the colour Midnight Rain, which is this sort of pinky purple cream. It's just perfect for her, exactly her colours. I'll put a picture in so you can see them, but I'm really pleased with them. Sunday socks are sort of a perfect gift knit because they work up really quickly. They're so cosy. You can't not be happy with a pair of knitted socks. So I gave her those along with some tea, and yeah, that was her birthday present. And the final one is still really quite wet actually, because I finished it at midnight last night and put it onto block, so it's still really damp. But this is my Bayou beanie by Vitre Design. Let me fold it up for you so you can see how it's meant to look. Oh, it's actually just soaking. Oh, good. This is kind of how it will look. I don't know how well you'll see it because again, it's really, really quite damp, but that is the yarn. It is one that my lovely, lovely friend Sophie, who took the picture in the thumbnail of this video, she got it for me several years ago actually when she was on a work trip in Portugal. It's the Retrosaria one from their Apresenta range called Super Soft, and I believe it's made in Ireland, so it's been on a bit of a journey, and it's pure wool is the label. Yeah, it's a colour called Jasper, so it's this really gorgeous dark red, and I just really wanted to make a sort of fisherman beanie out of it because I think it would quite suit me. A lot of beanies make my forehead look really big, and I think this one will not do that, which will be good. I found the pattern when I was watching Marlena's podcast of Marlene Knits and saw that she was making this one for her partner, and I thought that's the perfect hat pattern. So I bought it and I made it, and it didn't take very long at all. It was a great sort of non-concentrating knit to be working on, and now I think I'm just going to leave it in the sun so it can dry properly, and then I can wear it because it's getting chilly around here. And I have a chronic health condition that means I'm very cold all the time. So definitely need lots of warm clothes for that. But yeah, that concludes my finished objects. Let's move on to works in progress. I am trying to slim down the number of works in progress I have because I really like knitting on one project at a time. I really like it. I loved knitting just my storm sweater, and I find it so much less stressful to have lots of decisions to make. And often I feel very kind of creatively pulled in lots of different directions when it comes to projects, but I think it just really helps to focus on one at a time and really slow down with it. So got a lot of long-term ones that haven't made much progress because I'm just sort of focusing on one thing at a time. I think the rule that I'm going to have with myself is that I can have one stockinette project, one sort of more concentrating project, and one sock. I think that works really well for me because then I've got something portable, something I don't have to concentrate on, and something that's a bit more mentally stimulating and a little bit more challenging. I can't remember what stage this one was at when I last filmed, but this is all of my progress on my sister's partner's birthday sweater from 2024. So I'm so sorry, I don't think he's watching, but I know I keep promising it'll be done soon, and one day it will. progress is happening, it's just very slow. It's joined in the round, it is a lovely texture, it's knit in drops flora that I've wound together. So we've got this nice melange effect in the ball, which I quite enjoy doing. Here's how it looks in the project. Yeah, I think it's a cool combination of colours. I think it'll look really good on him. And once the university term starts again and I'm going to graduate seminars and things like that, this will be what I take with me. I usually like to have something to knit that I don't have to concentrate on at all, but keeps my hands busy while I'm in seminars, lectures, things like that. So that's what I'll be working on. I should give you a PhD update actually. Let me just put this down and then I'll tell you everything. So the PhD update is that I recently passed my confirmation of status. This is a second year, cat's just knocking things off the table, second year assessment at Oxford, maybe at other universities as well, I'm not sure, that shows that you're on track to finish, and you basically submit a chapter of your PhD and other academics who aren't your supervisor look at it, assess it, give you lots of really constructive feedback, and have a kind of practice viva with you, which is the sort of thesis defence that you do. So that was very hard work. I put a lot of effort into that, especially because I was really quite ill for a lot of last academic year. And I'm really proud of myself that I've managed to pull it back and make it work, because I really did think I was going to have some time off for a bit, which would have been incredibly frustrating. But I passed that. I feel very, very fortunate to be doing my PhD. I think I just get to spend my days doing something that I really enjoy, and I feel very privileged to be able to do it. I've actually been thinking about maybe doing some sort of knitting PhD crossover content at some point, so if that's something that you might be interested in, whether it's things like vlogs of like what my days look like and where knitting fits in, where PhD work goes, you know, things like that, then I'm thinking about making that. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in that. And I've also just been feeling the the sort of 2010s urge to make a what's in my bag video, because I always enjoy watching them from other people, and I think the PhD knitter crossover again is probably one that hasn't hit YouTube before, so I don't know, let me know if that's something you're interested in seeing. But otherwise, let's get back to the works in progress. Cat is again knocking things off the table. It's quite sunny, and when it's sunny her favourite spot to sit is on the table, because she's kind of in full sunbeams there. And because she's a cat, one of her favourite things to do is knock stuff off the table. So luckily nothing breakable, but I will be clearing up afterwards. So my next work in progress is the second sock out of a pair of vanilla socks for my gran for her Christmas present. Let me see if it'll show you. Yeah, it's just finished. I've just finished the heel flap and gusset. So all my gusset decreases are done. I really enjoy doing gusset decreases because I think the line of it is so pleasing. I mean, look at that. That just brings me a lot of joy. And now I'm just kind of knitting the foot for 45 or so rows. So this will be done really soon. Like I reckon if I focused on it, I can get it done by the end of today, but I don't think that's going to happen because I want to knit on my blanket instead. So that's what I'm working on. I always put in an extra marker in the first stitch of the first row after finishing the gusset decreases. You can see that here is the pink one up here, and that's the beginning of row marker, and then I just can count down from there really easily, and that's how I measure my socks. I don't know if that's sort of a standard thing to do or just sort of made it up. Hopefully that is something that's of interest to people. I am loving this. This is Socktober. I can't remember the colour name, but I'll put it in, and I think it's beautiful. I love this as sock yarn because it's very exciting to knit with. It just keeps you very entertained and is so stunning. I mean, look at these colours. Look at that. So nice. The one thing that I am a bit unhappy with this sock is that obviously I've been knitting the heel flap back and forth, and that then means that when I've picked up stitches around the instep, it's quite a bold transition there, but I don't think it's the end of the world, and I think she'll quite like it. So this one will be done soon, and that will mean another pair of socks is off my gift knitting list. and this is the last 4-ply pair of socks for my gift knitting list, and I think all of my other knits are DK, or at least 4-ply that I'm going to knit as DK. So more on that in a bit. But yeah, I'm pleased with how this is going and I'm excited to carry on working on it. Love having a sock on the go. I think, was it this time last year? I'd never knit a sock before, and now the thought of not being able to knit socks is just totally unthinkable. I really enjoy it. I love knitting socks and I love buying sock yarn because I know that I will use it and that I will love it. So that's my sock. I have one more work in progress, which I'm going to show you now. So my last work in progress for this week, I've kind of got a bunch of works in progress that are sort of hibernating a bit at the moment, like my novice slipover, because I'm waiting for the friend who I'm doing a knit along with to catch up a little bit, and also my sheep sweater, which I am absolutely desperate to finish in 2026. It's going to happen, hold me accountable to that. But they're in hibernation, nothing's changed about them, so there's not really any point in me showing you. More things being knocked off the table. So my final work in progress to show you this week is my sweet shop blanket, which is currently at this stage. I don't know how well, ooh, yeah, the light's just catching it really nicely there. So I'd done sort of 5 squares when I last filmed a video, and just today I've started doing a new one in navy, which is leftover Eastex Spoonie, which I bought at the Hand Knitting Association of Iceland. It's a really nice sort of dusty navy colour, it's lovely. So that's going to be the next one. It'll then obviously have the Drops Charisma in the colour Wheat to finish off the square. It's great kind of mindless knitting this, I really enjoy working on it. The light is getting very afternoony. I need to decide which colours I'm going to put into it next, because I had a very clear idea of this kind of first 6, but now I'm not sure what to do next. So I have my leftovers from my storm sweater, which could go nicely, so either above the pink or above here, or even down next to the red. Let me see if I can show you. Could be nice, I'm not sure. Or I've got this mini that I've wound into 2. Could be nice to introduce a little bit of variegated yarn a bit higher up, that could work. I also have this brown one. Hi! I have this sock one in sort of olivey green. Hi, Pand. I think she's warmed too much, so she's come to sit in the shade. I also have this one. I'm not sure what I want to put in next, so I would welcome all suggestions, ideas, comments, whatever you think. Let me know. I think maybe some of them are too close to this yellow one here to put in directly next to it or above it. I think, yeah, maybe not ideal. Let me know what you think. But this, I've resigned myself to this being a very long-term project, and I think that's quite fun because I just come to it whenever I'm feeling excited about it, and I think that's a great way to do a hobby. Obviously, it's meant to be fun. So that's my final work in progress for this month. Let's chat spinning. I'm so excited to chat spinning! Recently, I've decided that I want to learn to spin because I really enjoy the sort of journey of sheep to sweater and everything that comes in between, and also I'm fascinated by the history of it and the agricultural history and the people and things like that, and obviously the animals. I love sheep, I grew up around sheep and I just find them really good company. They're just great, I love them. So I wanted to learn to spin, and I got in touch with the local Spinners and Weavers Guild, which has led me to so many amazing women who all got back in touch really quickly and said that they would be so happy to help me learn how to spin. I'm so sorry for what's going on with the light here. Yeah, they said that they would be really happy to help me learn how to spin. And so I went over to a really lovely lady's house, and she not only taught me how to use a wheel and how to prep wool from tops and things like that, but also how to prep... You alright, Pand? Okay. But also how to prep wool directly from a fleece, so how to clean it, how to card it, the whole thing. And from fleece that we prepped ourselves, I spun ooh, 2 skeins. They are quite wonky. Let me see if you can see. yeah, I mean, obviously it's sort of art yarn, but I'm really pleased with my first attempt. There are some bits of it that I just think have worked really, really, really well. For example, don't know how well you can see it, but yeah, I mean, obviously bits of it are underspun, bits of it are overspun, but I'm still so proud, and it feels very sheepy. I mean, some of it you can just straight up see a lock sticking out, so yeah. But I'm thrilled with it. I love my two little skeins. I don't know what I'm going to use them for, but at some point I'm sure I'll figure out something. My lovely, lovely friend Isabel is very kindly giving me her wheel that she doesn't have space for anymore, which hopefully will be arriving in the next week or so. It needs a couple of repairs doing, and people from the guild have said that they're happy to help me with that, which is so sweet of them. And I'm so excited to get going. I will show you a bunch of fibre in the acquisitions section, which will be pretty soon, I think. Maybe I'll do plans first and then acquisitions. But I'm just very excited to get started because I loved it. I really enjoyed spinning. It's like magic. You just sort of pinch it and wool comes out. My plans once the wheel arrives are get it fixed, remember how to set it up and get started. It's a different style of wheel. I was using a Saxony wheel in my lesson, and this one's an upright one, so I need to figure out how to work that. Scratchy Pand, you alright? Figure out how to work that, and then we'll go from there. But I'm keen to just start practicing lots and seeing how much I can kind of train my body to be good at it, because it does feel very much like it's about training your body to be consistent. So I'm excited to give it a go. And I'll keep you updated, of course, along the way. I feel like so many of my yarny friends are learning to spin at the moment, and it's really nice to share it with them. I'm gonna put this away. I'm gonna maybe close the blind and see if that helps. I'm so sorry about the light. The light is already so much better now I've closed the blind. I'm so sorry for that sort of Phantom of the Opera looking vibe I had going on. Hopefully this will be a bit better, and hopefully it wasn't too difficult to watch. Now let's talk about some plans. Pand? Sorry, she's playing with my hat. Miss Pand? No. That's not yours, is it? I made you a hat and you didn't like it. So sorry for that, but I know that people like it when Pandy features in videos, so she's really doing her best right now. I want to talk about some plans that I've got for autumn and winter. Because, as I said, I feel very creatively inspired, and also it's coming up on the holidays and I have gift knits to do. So I made myself a list on my phone. I'll put that in here so you can see it. And I am following that to make sure that I get everything done by the end of the year. I think it's pretty manageable because a lot of them are accessory sized knits and shouldn't take too long, especially as a lot of them are wrist warmers, which is basically just the leg of a sock. So let's talk first about the one that I am so excited about and have been for months. Oh, she's catching her tail again. Get it. Get that taily. I'll put in a clip of her doing this because it's very, very cute. So, first up is my Christmas jumper. Now I wanted to make a Christmas jumper this year, but I didn't want it to be too explicitly Christmassy because I don't want to put all that effort in and money and time to... She's just very cute. She's enjoying the last of the summer sun. So I didn't want to put all that effort and money and time in to knit something that I'd only be able to wear at most for 2 weeks a year. So I've decided to knit one that is just very classic, Nordic, and more versatile than just a straightforward Christmas jumper for me. This is the pattern. So it's the Sandnesgarn Marius Ladies Sweater, or Marius Damegenser. And for the first time really ever, I'm using the recommended yarn for a project, which I very rarely do because a lot of the recommended yarns are either very, very expensive or just not accessible for me, or are full of mohair, which, as we've said, I can't use. So this one is just straightforward Peer Gynt. I'm using the exact same colours as recommended in the pattern, which is Dazzling Blue and Marzipan Tutti Frutti Tweed. So you can see them in my swatch. I love it. I'm so excited about this one. This I knitted on 4mm needles as recommended in the pattern, but I think for the project itself I'm going to go up to 4.5mm needles just because I think Peer Gynt is really on the boundary for me about whether it will work well on 4mm needles or not. I think it's more of a worsted than a DK for me, and I would like it to be a little bit less stiff. It's quite stiff at the moment, so I want it to be a bit drapier. But look at this. I love the little spots of colour from the Tutti Frutti Tweed. These are the two yarns in the ball. I'm so excited. I might cast this one on in a bit actually because I'm very excited about it and I can't wait to get started. The pattern looks really well written, it's charted. I'm going to scan the charts in on my iPad so I can highlight them, which is my favourite way of following a chart because it means I don't get lost, and get going. I think I'm also going to do a project a project vlog for this one, which I've never done before, but I think I might do it because it's a very specific project for a very specific occasion, and I think that could be really fun. So again, let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in seeing. But that's my first one. Oh, I'm so pleased with it. This one is very low on the priority list for a plan, but if I have time, I want to knit myself some holiday socks using this yarn. It's got glitter in it. This is, are you going to focus on me? There we go. This is West Yorkshire Spinners' Signature Sparkle 4-ply, which is mostly wool, a little bit nylon, a little bit polyester. It's designed for socks, and this is in the shade Yuletide, which is just perfect. I love the combination of colours, and I think it would be really, really fun to knit this up to wear for the holidays or otherwise maybe as a Christmas Day cast on. Could be very fun, but it's very low on the priority list because it's for me and not as a gift, and I have lots of other things that I want to finish first, but if I get to it, then I will definitely knit up this beautiful yarn. Yeah, I really like West Yorkshire Spinners sock yarn. I think it's my favourite that I've used so far actually, because it's very washable, it's very affordable, and it's high quality, and it's produced in the UK, which is very local for me, and I would love to be focusing on shopping local a bit more in 2026 especially, so that's part of the plan. More socks up next. Next on the list is 2 pairs of Sunday socks. Again, the pattern's by Petite Knit. I think we all know the Sunday socks pattern, and the first one will also be in Drops Fiesta. This is the colourway Northern Lights, which is colourway number 20. It's this kind of mix of different night sky aurora shades, so it's very pretty. This is going to be a birthday present for my partner, which is just after the holidays. And then this, I love, look at it. Please focus. This is Rico Tweed 6-ply, so they're DK sock yarn, and it's very, very soft actually, and not too rustic at all, even though it looks very rustic. And this one, oh, it's a bit glued together at the top, don't know what's happened there, is going to be Sunday socks for my granddad because he gets very cold feet. And if there's enough left over, I might be tempted to make myself a pair. I think it's just very pretty, and I think it'll go well in boots, which I spend probably 75% of the year in. So those are my sock plans. And are there any other sock plans? No, I don't think so. But Socktober is coming up in just a couple of days, and it may well already be Socktober by the time I post this. The next plan is a Sophie scarf, the second size that wraps around twice, for my friend Jamie for her birthday. She is really one of my best friends. She's a legend. I am obsessed with her, and she asked if she could commission me to make her one of these, and I said, absolutely not. Your money's no good here. Your birthday's coming up as well. Let me just make you one. So this is the yarn. This is an acquisition actually. It's Fluff 4-ply in the colour Beanie Bag. Again, I don't understand the the World of Wool shade names for the fluff range, whatever. I personally prefer using a fingering weight yarn for a Sophie scarf because I think they just have so much more drape to them, and I think this will go really well. You are determined to make a mess in this flat. So that's what I'm going to use. Jamie requested a really bright red, and I think this one will suit her perfectly. It's blowing out a little bit on camera, but it's a just very straightforward classic shade of red, really. Next up is the wrist warmers I mentioned, which are, again, I think basically just the leg of a Sunday sock. My parents-in-law, we're not married, but my parents-in-law wanted wrist warmers because they have a very cold house, but they don't really like fingerless gloves, so they just want it to be like a tube that covers, yeah, they do, heel of the hand down to about mid-arm. I think I'm going to cast on somewhere between 40 and 55 stitches, depending on who it's for, and then just knit until it in 2x2 rib until it's done. This is the first one. This is leftover Drops Daisy from my Olga sweater, which she's now catching an IKEA pencil. Enrichment for your cat. It's not as hard as you think. This is in the colour number 20 as well, and it's so bright, it's very vibrant. This is for my father-in-law, which I think that he will really, really like, and it's very soft because it's a merino. And for my mother-in-law, I'm using Sudar Hayworth Tweed in the colour Colder Sky, which is exactly her colour of blue. I think she'll really like it. So hopefully that'll keep both of them warm. And I thought that's such a good idea. My grandma is obsessed with football. She's really into the football. Pandy, do you want me to clear that off the chair so you can sit down? No? Okay. I thought that was a great idea for my grandma because she loves football and it's often very cold at matches. She's in her 80s, so I want to keep her warm during the football season. And I have almost a whole ball actually of Fluff DK in the colour Fallen Snow. Now that colour name makes sense. It's bright white, it's very, very white. I bought one of these to swatch with the Drops Daisy actually for my Olga sweater, and then ended up thinking that it looked a bit too much like a traffic cone and used a different striped colour instead. But I have lots of this left over and it's also very, very soft and a great colour on her, so I think she's going to get some wrist warmers in this. And that concludes the wrist warmers. I reckon I can do a pair in a day. Honestly, I'm going to use my 9-inch circulars with 4mm tips and go from there. I think that'll work quite well, and I think it'll be speedy but appreciated, which I think is a good balance for a gift knit. My final pattern that I really want to knit before the end of the year is the Höstfläta Votter. The name of the designer has escaped me, but I'll put it on the screen so you can see. And this is going to be the yarn. This is Rico Designer DK. I'm not sure if they make this anymore because my gran very kindly gave me 3 of these out of her stash, and I've already used one and a bit to make a hat for a friend, but I think the colour is so perfect and beautiful. I am very excited to get these going. I think they'll be a very cosy mitten. I get really bad chilblains in the winter. Again, chronic health condition that means I am very cold a lot of the time. So it would be nice to have some really warm woolly mittens for that, because I've never owned hand knitted gloves. That's mad. I should have hand knitted gloves. So I think that'll be very fun. I was chatting with a friend about potentially doing this as a mini knit along with her, because she also wants to make this pattern. So that's very much on the list, and we'll see. I think it would be gorgeous, but my hands are already cold this time of year, so I might need to get started. I'll message her and see how she's getting on. Those are all my plans. I would also love to make some progress on my sweet shop blanket. You know, I looked through my Ravelry the other day and I looked through my stash and I thought, you know what, I've got enough that I'm really excited about to not buy yarn for the rest of forever. There are a few projects that I really am very keen to get some yarn in stash for, and those, none of them are published yet. The first one is the Crayon Sweater by the Crayabea, which is sort of the perfect honeycomb raglan, and I think it just is the dreamiest jumper. I've asked my partner for some yarn for that as a Christmas present, and I think it's going to be just the dream sweater. Cream cables, can't go wrong. I also would really like to make the Afric sweater, which the Crayabea is also publishing, I think, next week. I'm not sure. But it probably won't be on my needles until at least early next year, if not later in the year. This beautiful jumper with bands of colour work across it, and I've come up with a perfect colour combination in my book, so something I'd like to get yarn for. Maybe Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool. I think I've failed to say the word Peruvian lots in this podcast, so don't know what's going on with that. Potentially in that I'm thinking a sort of oatmeal main colour with really this colour of green, this kind of olivey green, and red, and a sort of dark red and mustardy ochre yellow I think would be a good combination. So we'll see how that turns out. Very autumnal as well. And the other one that I really want to get some yarn in for is the Maitland sweater by Blue Sheep Knitwear, which every time she posts a picture of it I think that is the perfect sweater for me. It's the perfect combination of knit pearl texture, cables, cozy vibes, top down. As soon as she puts out a test call I'm going to sign up because I think it's perfection. And part of the plan for this weekend when I go to a yarn festival is to look out for some yarn that I could potentially use for that. I'm thinking maybe a chocolatey brown could be nice, or maybe also a cream, maybe a burgundy. We'll see. So my acquisitions, I already showed you one, which is for Jamie's Sophie scarf, but I also met up with my lovely friend Sophie in London very recently, along with my partner, which was delightful. And we went to Zeitfürbrot, which is just one of my favourite bakeries, and we've recently opened up a branch in London, which makes my little German heart very, very happy. Got to have a Franzbrötchen, which was just a delight. If you don't know what a Franzbrötchen is, it's if a croissant and a cinnamon Danish had a baby, that's sort of what it is. My Germans help me out. So this is what I came away with from Loop, because I thought I just want a mini skein. This is it. Lots of pretty colours in this one. This is a sock yarn mini skein from Vilaine in their Pour Loop London range. This is the label. Not sure how well you can see that. The colour of this one is called Casting a Spell, Jeter un sort. And yeah, it's just a 20-gram skein of very pretty sock yarn, which I bought for my sweet shop blanket. So that's going to go into that. I don't know that I'll put it in immediately because I think it's very pinky ready at this stage, but a little bit later this will definitely go in. I thought it was too pretty to leave behind. So that's my mini skein. So my family very, very generously asked what I'd like for my birthday, and I said that I would love to receive some fibre, and that World of Wool is a great place in the UK to source it from. Very good prices, lovely range, things like that. So this is going to be a bit crinkly because I've got to get them all out of Ziplocs, but this is from my gran, who is fantastic, the one I'm knitting the socks for. She got me this one, which is called Apple Pie. I'm not sure off the top of my head what breed it is, but I'll find out and put it in so that you know. It's, again, very tweedy. They know me so well. That one I love. My controversial opinion is that apples are disgusting. I don't like them. I know that will be a controversial opinion, but nothing about them. Smell, taste, crunch, horrible. Beyond that, we have a few others. Sorry for the crinkling if it's very loud. This one is called Garland. Again, I'll put the breed in the text. This one's sparkly. Now, I think this one is so fun. This is a very this is part of their Christmas range, and you can really tell it's so fun. Look at it. I'm not a big glitter girly, but I like a little hint of sparkle around the festive season. I'm not opposed to it. So that's that one. What else do we have? She was so generous, she got me a whole bunch of tops. We also have this one, which is called Rekindled. I believe this is from their recycled range, potentially. This one's very red. Might ply well with the garland, actually, for a very festive look. I don't know. That one's beautiful. They're all in these nice bags as well to protect them. I keep Ziploc bags like nobody's business because we have a moth problem. We live in the UK, everyone has a moth problem. So there we are. This one is called Rhubarb Crumble. I love it. Look at this tweedy goodness. Focus, please. Yeah, beautiful tweed there. Again, thinking with this one it would ply well with maybe just some straightforward natural cream, or maybe something darker for a bit of, you know, something. And the final two are a pair. I don't know if YouTube will let me say this word, actually. I don't want to get this video taken down. They're named after a very famous British pudding that involves raisins and bread and butter, but also involves a word that is a little bit rude. So if you know, you know, I guess. Yeah, this is the regular colourway here. And this one's called the indulgent version. This beautiful purple. I think those two would go great together, which is the intention behind them. So that's them. I am very excited to spin these up, but they're absolutely not going to be the first things I spin because I want to do a really good job of them. When I decided I was going to start spinning, I took advantage actually of the World of Wool sale, not sponsored, just a fan, and decided that I would get a bunch of different breeds, so sort of 100-gram tops from a bunch of different breeds. All of them were about £1.50 each, so it wasn't very expensive at all. And I'm going to practice spinning with those so that I'm not wasting my very fancy ones that are gifts from my gran. So those are my first fibre tops. They were all very kindly given to me by my gran as a birthday present. I'm very excited about that. Yeah. The next one is huge. My mother is very, very, very kind to me, and when I told her I was going to start spinning, she heard the call and got me quite a lot of fibre. I'm actually going to go and get the kind of sample size that I got for myself so I can show you without having to take it all out of the bag. You'll see why in a second. So this is the top that I got for myself. This is the Black Welsh Mountain Sheep top. It's very soft and yeah, just very beautiful. And that's the colour. It's this gorgeous chocolatey brown. I said to my mum that I really liked it and that eventually one day, once I'm acceptable at spinning, if that ever happens, I'd love to spin a sweater quantity in this gorgeous chocolatey brown. I think it would suit me, and I hope we agree. And she really came through as a birthday present. She got onto the World of Wool website and she got me a kilo of Black Welsh Mountain carded bats, which is this. Look at the size of it, just straight up in a bin bag. I did not expect a kilo of fibre to be this enormous, and I don't know where I'm going to store it. I live in a tiny flat, right? My flat has no storage. Any storage we have has a hoover in it, by which I mean we have one cupboard, not we have lots of hoovers. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to put it. I think I'm going to have to get good at spinning quickly so it can become a jumper. It's so big, but it was very, very, very kind of her and my dad to give me that. And just to show you one more time, this is the colour, Black Welsh Mountain. It's not focusing. Not the end of the world. It also smells really sheepy. It smells, yeah, straight from the sheep. It's even got some more vegetable matter in, so pull it out. Right, I've got one more acquisition to show you, and then I'm going to call it a day because I need to get back to work and PhD isn't going to do itself. I realised that I acquired some books a couple of episodes ago and forgot to show them. So I have a few knitting themed books to show you. The first of which is Knitting from the Top, which I'm very, very excited to look at. It's by Barbara G. Walker and people just keep recommending it to me as something that I'd find really interesting. It gives you sort of detailed but not calculated instructions for how to knit top-down jumpers and top-down garments. And I think it's going to be really fun to browse this and try things out. So that's my first one. I got this in a second-hand sale at Woll in Berlin over the summer. This is one of my favourite yarn shops in the world. I love it so much. I think everything in their range is beautiful, and it was just a delight to find they had this book in as well. On a similar theme, this is a gift from my lovely friend Jen, who, I don't know if she's watching, but if you are, Jen, you're the best. And this is, again, seamless sweater construction. It's called The Sweater Workshop. It's by Jacqueline Faye. Not sure. It shows you lots of different skills, lots of different ideas, how to build things, lots of charts. So that's very fun. I'm excited to have a look properly through that and combine it, especially with knitting from the top. And I would also love to get a stitch dictionary at some point. There's one in our local public library, which is great. So I might go and get that out and have a look at some point. And finally, I got this as a birthday present to myself. It's called The Wonder of Wool, A Knitter's Guide to Pure Breed Sheep by Justine Lee and Jess Morency. And it includes knitting patterns, but it also has a sort of breakdown of British sheep breeds and the history of the British wool trade, which, if you don't know, was really fundamental to the invasions of the UK, trade of the UK, industrial revolutions, social issues, social crises, and also social developments and evolutions and adaptations. It starts with this beautiful page with swatches in all of the different colours, and then just takes you through a sort of profile of each of the breeds with the swatch there, so you can see how it looks and what it looks like. And I think, especially combined with the start of my spinning journey, this is going to be a very valuable resource, and it's also just a beautiful sort of coffee table book. So that's that. Speaking of books, I have a couple of media recommendations, which I actually doubt will be new to anyone. I had never read any Emily Henry books, and so many people I know were recommending them to me, and I really needed something that was just fun and light to read, because I spend a lot of time reading very heavy books for my PhD, so it was nice to read something really fun. I am currently reading Book Lovers and having a really fun time with it, and have recently finished listening to the audiobook of Funny Story, which I adored. And if you haven't read it, please do. And if you have read it, please talk to me about it, because it's just swimming around in my head and I love it. I really enjoyed that. I am excited to read some more of hers, and I think she's just a very clever author, and her characters feel very real, and it all feels like a really considered use of the tropes she's using. I'm a big fan, so I'm a bit of an Emily Henry convert. What else have I been doing? I've been listening to the audiobook Erebus by Michael Palin, which is the history of a ship that sank whilst trying to find the Northwest Passage, which, again, Arctic exploration, so fascinating. I have lots of thoughts and feelings about it, and have done for like 15 years now. I've been to the Arctic once, and it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, and I would love to go back at some point. I just like cold places, so that's great. Do I have other media recommendations? We've been watching Educating Yorkshire, which is fascinating, because my partner and I have both been out of the senior education system, like secondary education system, that's like high school in the UK, from the age of 11 to, how old are you when you're 16? I've been out of that for a long time now. It's been like 11 years. And I left school when I was 18, which is very conventional, went to university. And so it's just kind of interesting to see how the school system has changed, how it hasn't, what's evolved, what hasn't, and get a bit more of an insight into what's going on in education right now. So I think that's kind of it, really. Thank you so much for watching. I think this is going to get cozier and cozier as the autumn kind of draws in. Thank you for putting up with weird lighting, and I know that the sound is not great on my podcast at the moment. I borrowed a microphone off my dad and it didn't work, and I can't currently afford to get one. So I'm hoping that the built-in mic is doing an okay job, but I'm really sorry that the sound isn't ideal. And also the lighting has been a little unideal this time around as well. But let me know in the comments what you're working on, if you have any gift knits on the needles, what your plans are for the rest of the year. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a lovely end of September, start of October. Let me know what you're working on, and make sure that as the season's changing, you are taking care of yourself. Thanks for watching. Bye!